Sports! What's up, Mid-Michigan? I'm Brandon Leopold, back in studio for the Last Word on Sports. Coming up on tonight's episode, at 9 o'clock, we begin our college football special with CMU head football coach Dan Enos.
And we have more about the Tigers' 13-8 win tonight, and plus more about the Lions' future as they get closer to the season.
And we're joined in studio by a very special guest. You don't want to miss it. It's the Last Word on Sports tonight from 8 to 10 p.m. You don't want to miss it. Keep it tuned right here to Modern Rock 91.5, where music and sports begin.
This is a service of Central Michigan University School of Broadcast and Cinematic Arts. WMHW, HD1 and HD2 Mount Pleasant. Modern Rock 91.5, where music begins.
The following broadcast is a Modern Rock Sports production.
And we are back on the Last Word on Sports here on Modern Rock 91.5. I am, of course, Brandon Leopold, Kevin Drescher, Joe Wilmot, and Jason Lewis in studio. And we are joined now on line one by the newest head coach of the CMU Chippewas. Coach Dan Enos joins us on the Last Word on Sports. Coach, thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to do this for us, and thank you so much for being on.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Coach Enos, this is Kevin Drescher here. Speaking about those losses, you know, I'm out there as a football fan. I'm around. I'm a Michigan State fan, too, so we talk a lot about college football among my friends and I. And I talk about how proud I am to be a Chippewa and be a fan of the Chippewas. They say, yeah, Dan Lefever's gone, the program's going down the drain. Well, what would you say to everybody out there to say that these are the players you need to look out for, and this program is for real and it's going to be around for a while?
Well, you know, I think obviously we have to go out and earn that respect back. And this year in the 2010 team, and I've challenged our seniors with that, is that, you know, people say that this program is basically going to start to deteriorate a little bit, and I think our seniors have a chip on their shoulder and want to prove to everybody that this is a good football program. One thing that I point out is that I think one of the big reasons why CMU won 12 games last year is because I think their defense finally stepped up and matched the production of their offense. And obviously, to have a team that was as good as CMU was last year with 12 wins, obviously it's not just on one side of the ball. It's both sides of the ball plus your special teams. And, you know, Brett Hartman, who obviously was a punter, is back again, and we feel he's an outstanding player as well. So obviously we have to go out and earn it every year, and this year is no different. But you know, when you can say that you're returning pretty much your whole offensive line and your tight end intact, and obviously with the players like Nick Valor on defense, I would definitely not say that the program has gone down the tubes. Yes, we have to replace some very, very high-profile players on offense that were very productive. You know, but as I mentioned earlier, that's college football, and we feel good about the young players that we have in those positions.
That's great.
Again, we're joined live on the Last Word on Sports by CMU head football coach Dan Enos. Coach, obviously, you know, the question on everybody's mind, you know, that phone rings and you hear that it's Dave Hickey on the other end saying, "You're our guy." I guess this is a two-part question for you. First of all, what drew you into CMU? And when you got that phone call from Mr. Hickey, what was going through your mind when he said, "You're our man"?
Well, first and foremost, my perception of CMU has always been that it's been a first-class program. You know, when I was a young man growing up, Kurt Dombrowski, who was a great player here, who happened to pass away in the Northwest Airlines flight in 1987, he was my Little League baseball coach, and while he was playing here, and Pat Brackett, who was another great CMU player, was from my high school, and I went to school with his younger brothers, and this was the first college game I ever went to, and Coach Taramedy and Coach Flynn recruited me very heavily out of high school, and so I got a chance to see the place when they recruited me, and they did it in a first-class way, and so this has been a program that I've always thought very, very highly of. Coach Taramedy, you know, and Coach Kramer got this thing kicked off back in the late 60s, early 70s, and in my opinion, it's been one of the most consistent, best football programs in the country. And so when this opportunity became available and I found out that they were interested in me, I was thrilled. My family was thrilled that we were even being considered, and knew that it would be an unbelievable opportunity for us. And then when Coach or Mr. Hickey called me and offered me the job, we were just elated, my entire family, not just my immediate family, my wife and 2 children, but my mother, my father, my brothers, and I grew up in Dearborn. I've lived in Michigan, all through. I was born in Detroit. We moved to Dearborn, went to Ethelford High School, played college in the state of Michigan, and have coached here for the last 4 years. So, to be a Michigan native and to have the opportunity at a place like Central Michigan has just been a dream come true.
Coach Enos, Kevin Drescher here again. My math skills aren't great, but I counted they have 13 seniors on the website on the roster. Is there one of those seniors that you're really looking forward to step up and lead the team overall? Well,
that's a great question, and it's funny you asked that because we actually had a dinner just for the seniors tonight. My wife and I had a dinner with the seniors and Plas Presnell, football ops, and his wife and a couple of our coaches, and I spoke to the seniors about that, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I told them, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, is that we have been so impressed with this leadership of this senior class. All 13 of those guys, as you mentioned, I would feel very comfortable with having those guys be a captain of our football team or representing our football team in any form or fashion. They have paid the price throughout the years, and since we've arrived here in January, they've been nothing but positive role models for the rest of our football team. And I told our team tonight, especially our young players, because we have our seniors sit in the front row in our team meetings, and it goes by class, juniors, sophomores, and the freshmen sitting back. I said, you guys in the back, look up here because you're being taught how to do it the right way. And that's what a program is. When the seniors, they set the bar, and then the juniors, sophomores, and freshmen try to live up to that, and then every year it just keeps getting higher and higher and higher. And I think, as I could mention and talk about all 13 of these guys in different ways and how they've provided great leadership throughout this transition. It's not an easy thing when a new coaching staff comes, and some of these guys, I'm the third head coach, so they've handled it very maturely, and we appreciate the way they've handled it. And I know obviously guys like Nick Ballore and Colin Miller and Matt Burning and Tito, those guys get a lot of pub, but all the guys from Matt Torres to Tyler Reed to Vince Agnew, Bobby Say, Brett Hartman, the punter, all of them have done things in their own way to really, really help the transition with the new coaching staff and help us to be the point where we're at today.
And one of my last questions, last year being, of course, one of the best years for CMU football, how ironic is it for you, if you think back on it, for CMU to come in, beat Michigan State, and then at the end of the year walk out with you on their team?
I've thought about that a lot. That who would have thought that? Who would have thunk that would ever happen?
Yeah.
In this business, it's just crazy, And people have asked me about that game a lot, obviously. And the thing I tell people all the time is, going into that football game, being at Michigan State, is we knew it was going to be a heck of a football game because as coaches, we watched the film, and the film doesn't lie, So I remember asking our defensive coaches when we got the Arizona film back, because they played them the week before, what do you guys think? And they said they're pretty good. They're actually really good. They got a great quarterback. They got a couple outstanding wide receivers, and their offensive line is very good. And obviously, I spent the whole week studying their defense, and I came away, saying the same thing, that Nick Ballore is an outstanding player, no matter what level of football you're talking about. Matt Burning's very good. The two defensive ends were good players, and the D tackles in there were very good as well. So, they came in and they did what they needed to do to win the game. But it was no surprise to us as a staff that it was going to be a close, hard-fought football game because they were well coached and they had a lot of talent.